What up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm showing you how to make this amazing beet blue cheese dressing. I literally just threw this stuff into a bowl one day and it tasted like blue cheese dressing, so I'm sharing it with y'all. So the base of the dressing is some tahini, which is just ground up sesame seeds, and this brand's a little bit thicker than some other brands, so you might have to adjust some of this stuff depending on how thick your tahini is, but a half a cup of that goes in, and then some beet juice from sliced beets that I got out of a can. So I just strained this can of beets, and I'm using a half a cup of the beet juice. That's our liquid, no water, nothing. That's what thins this out. And then I'm adding in some more tasty ingredients. This plum vinegar is so good, salty, tangy. I use this in pretty much everything that I make. So I'm putting a tablespoon of plum vinegar into the large bowl as well. And then we're gonna do some apple cider vinegar. Y'all should know what this is. This is super good for you. Some more tang to your dressing. So a tablespoon of that is going in as well. And then we're gonna do some miso. We have red miso on hand, so that's what we're using, but you can totally use yellow or white, whatever you like. This is just a fermented soybean paste. Again, it just adds some more like tanginess. It's super salty, so that's why we're not adding extra salt into this recipe. A lot of this stuff is pretty salty already. So I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of miso, and then some nutritional yeast, aka nooch. We just store ours in a jar like this. This stuff is cheesy and earthy and just, it gives it such good flavor. So 2 tablespoons of that is going into the bowl. And then the next ingredient is crucial, whole Dijon mustard. We get ours from Trader Joe's. You gotta get the kind that's in like the balls, those little ball shapes, the whole mustard. It just gives it such a good texture. I love it. This is so good in this dressing. Without it, it's just not the same. So I'm putting in 3 tablespoons of that whole Dijon mustard. And then this everything but the bagel sesame seasoning is, again, crucial AF. Like, it does not taste the same without it. It might be the poppy seeds in there, I don't know. Without it, it does not taste like blue cheese as much. So I would highly recommend putting this stuff in. So I'm doing about a teaspoon of the everything but the bagel seasoning. And then I'm adding in about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And then we're gonna put in some Bragg's liquid Aminos. This is kind of optional. I like putting it in there, some more depth of flavor. It's just a soy sauce alternative, so if you're gluten-free, you can add this in. Again, optional, but I like adding that in. So I put about a 1/4 teaspoon of that in, and then some freshly ground black pepper. I just have one of these like electric grinders. So I just grind that on up in there. About a 1/4 teaspoon is going in. I just kind of eyeball it, but you can measure it if you're a measurer. And then essentially you're just gonna whisk the shit out of this. You definitely need to use a whisk or else it's just gonna be super lumpy. So just whisk, whisk, whisk. And then you'll be able to tell if you need to add any more liquid or tahini. Again, it just kind of depends on the brand of tahini that you have. So start with this base recipe and then kind of go from there. As you can see, it's kind of thick, a little thick. So I'm adding in some more beet juice. I end up using the whole can of beet juice, just an FYI, because this tahini is so thick. So do a little taste test after I get it a little better consistency. And I love my food super flavorful, which not everybody does. I do. So I'm adding in like pretty much more of everything else. Again, taste it and adjust everything to your taste buds. Everybody's taste buds are different. I like super seasoned food. So I'm adding in more bagel seasoning, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, onion powder, Bragg's liquid Aminos, plum vinegar, mustard, and some more pepper. And then I'm literally gonna add the rest of the beet juice because I can tell this is gonna make it thicker. So I ended up using the whole can of beet juice. Again, it totally depends on the tahini that you have and everything like that. So I am adjusting it to my taste buds, and I'm just gonna whisk that all up again. Give it a good little whisk. It's such a pretty color. I love this shit. I love it. I love it. It's so good. So whisk that on up and do another little taste test to make sure that it's to your liking. This was top notch, so perfect. Oh, so good. It makes about 2 cups if you use the whole can of beet juice. And then I just pour it into a jar and pop it into the fridge. It'll thicken up a little bit as it sits in the fridge. It'll last about 5 to 7 days in the refrigerator. Mine usually doesn't last that long. You can make salad dressing, or you can make salads with this and use it as a dressing. You can dip fries in it, however you would use regular blue cheese dressing. It's so good. You guys will have to let me know if you think it tastes like blue cheese dressing, because I love it. So I just made a simple salad with some organic spinach and some toasted walnuts and some Violife feta cheese, which is so good. And then I just drizzled the dressing all over it. It was so good. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll just see you in my next video. Peace out, you guys. Spot on.